Nothing on there. There's nothing on there.
She said she downloaded.
I think she did, but it didn't. Got everything we need right here.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Nicholas County Board of Education special meeting, Monday, April 28th, 2025. At this time, please stand for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Please join the board with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, action items. Discussion with possible action on the appointment of Mr. John Stats to fill the unexpired term of board member, Mr. James Stephen Ferguson. So it's not really the unexpired term because Steve's term expires in 3 years. And this, he would, if Mr. Stats would want to continue, he would have to run in the spring and May election.
Right.
So this is, it would be to fill the until June 30th of 2026.
Talk to him.
Have I talked to Mr.
Yeah.
Stats? Yes, he's
He's willing to take it.
willing and able. It's a formality. We have to vote on it. He cannot take his oath until he fulfills
Training.
the 7 hours of training orientation. But I talked to the executive director today from Charleston, and if we approve him tonight, they'll set that up just as soon as they can.
Yeah, he can get it online, can he? Or
I think he has to go to the office.
somewhere.
So is there any other discussion on? So right now we're discussing possible appointment of Mr. Stats. Any while you're driving, any questions or concerns or discussion?
He's willing to come to the board. Board.
Okay. Mr. Moose, anything?
I'm fine. I was
Okay.
very impressed.
If there's no other discussion then, do we have a motion to approve Mr. Stats as the board member that would take Mr. Ferguson's seat until June 30th, 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Berry makes a motion. Do I have a second?
You have a second?
Mr. Moose seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. So I will call him after a while. I'll just keep you on the phone while if we lose you, then we lose you. Just discussion with possible action on the approval of the contract with Wilderness at the Smokies. And that's for Mount Lookout Elementary.
And that, was that an overnight trip? It was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And
And We didn't find anything in the policies.
I found the policy, but it's old. And I knew at one time, I haven't paid much attention to the trips, who was going where overnight and all, evidently, because anyway, the old policy said that grade school children could not go out of state overnight, but it was from 1990.
Not too bad, 35 years.
But told you I remembered. So anyway, later on, we will approve those trips, I'm sure.
We need to approve that contract.
So is there any other discussion on that? Approving that contract with Smokies Resort? That's strictly between Mount Lookout and them, basically. Just has to run through us. Okay, do we have a motion to accept that contract with Wilderness at Smokies?
So moved.
Mr. Moose makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Green seconds. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. C, discussion with possible action on the approval of the contract with the Panorama Education Incorporation. Dr. Lee.
For administrators and teachers. And what it does is it's a support for the multi-tiered systems of support. So it will pull the data from a variety of sources, including WELIS, and it puts it all together into like a student profile where the administrators can use it to track with all their tiered interventions, be it behavior, academics, social, emotional, whatever that would need to be. What they'll do is once we get the contract signed, they'll actually go back and import this year's data so that next fall, when administrators start using it, they'll have old data to be able to compare to look for trends. I've had stakeholders group review it, and all of the administrators and county office people that reviewed it think it's really going to save them a lot of time, because right now principals are tracking all of this by hand with Excel sheets, and they spend an immense amount of time.
That's for disciplinary.
It's for everything.
Oh,
You can track discipline, you can track behavior, academics, all of it. The first year is a little more expensive because you're actually paying them to build their database and download all the initial information. But after that, it's for successive years. And I'm spending it out of federal funds.
Any questions? If not, do we have a motion to accept the approval of the contract with Panorama Education?
I make that motion.
Mr. Berry makes a motion, seconded by
I'll second.
Mr. Moose seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion unanimous. D, discussion with possible action on approval of contract with Swoop Construction, and that's for the Nicholas County Sewage Project.
That's it there.
Has anybody read this?
No, if you need a minute, you go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. Well,
Ms. Weitzel, do we know when the project would start?
After they get this back, then Mr. Ferguson was going to set up a meeting with the contractor, with the architect, and us to establish a timeline.
Time is of the essence.
says from the start, it'll be 150 days.
5 months.
They always allow themselves a little bit.
They do. Just in case, time.
I'll say that they're not sure how much dirt they may have to take out and reclaim after they take the concrete out, because we're unable to determine how much of it is, bad.
That will involve taking up floor pad, the concrete pad of the school and put certain areas.
It'll be very similar to what they did at Cherry River. You
They'll
remember when we
probably
were up there where they cut sections
Yeah,
out and they
right.
dug it out and they hauled it out?
Yeah, they did it. Did that at Protect too.
He is also working on the Clay Creek site. And they already have workers who
In the area.
One of the reasons they bid on it.
Hmm.
Because they're already local.
What was their is it 1,000,003 or?
actually right under $1 million, like 925,000, not counting our architectural fees. I think it came to just right over $1 million, I think.
We'll still be within budget, because we got and the money that we put in as our match. Most of the things that this is.
And I think there's even a good tendency, Bill, I
Into it.
I don't think that the contingency is enumerated in this contract, but even if that does become an issue, we should still.
It's a much needed project.
Have you reviewed this contract?
Yeah,
Good enough for me.
You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and do we have a motion to accept a contract with Swoop Construction for the Nicholas? Mr. Green makes a motion, seconded by
second.
Mr. Berry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion unanimous. Consent items, out-of-state travel request. So these are the ones that we held over. Well, the first two, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we voted on,
yeah, those were the
we
elementary.
voted for them already, didn't we?
No,
We tabled them.
no, we tabled them.
do you want to see the itineraries?
No, I don't. I'm fine. I just didn't want to go against a policy if we had one in place.
No, I mean,
Evidently, when, what's Neola, when we went with Neola, that went away. So
I mean, we voted on the front page there.
Number three, didn't we approve number
No, we-
three before?
out of state. We proved.
I believe we did at the last board meeting.
Kevin Manny.
I know, I remember somebody, maybe, or is there more than one person that would do that?
There are two JROTC.
Oh, okay. Okay, that might be it.
Well, the most we can do is approve it twice. I mean,
Not gonna hurt anything.
it's not gonna hurt anything, so we'll leave it on there.
Some of these, like when it says 4 adults, 17 students, 5 adults, 11 students. 5 adults. I don't know how many students. One, two. I know we set a limit of 8, I think, at least one adult for 8 students,
Well,
but it seems like an awful lot of,
what you have is there'll be parents that'll go. When we used to do it at Panther Creek, there would be tons of parents that went ahead and they drove their kids, and then you met at the park and they still,
we don't pay for that.
no.
No,
Okay.
we do not.
So, and believe me, if you're in a park, you don't want more than 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah, but those parents all had to be background checked.
That's the volunteers, yeah. That's right.
Their own kids, but they'll be around the other kids also.
Well, the kids that are on the bus is the ones we're responsible for, but the ones that go with their
Right.
parents, that's up to them.
I feel like we're responsible for all of them.
Well, I know what you're saying, but
Yes, I know what you're saying.
you know, if in the past there'd be a kid that wasn't allowed to go on a trip and, you know, you get to the trip and they'd show up and
Right,
it's a public place, so you know, you can't do anything about it.
These people have to be approved.
They would have.
They've already been approved.
As a
right?
chaperone or volunteer or
The
something.
ones on this list, yes. And a lot of these are teachers.
You know, almost all of them are teachers. Almost all.
Ever how many teachers going to chaperone? It's a school trip, so the school would fundraise for that trip and the school would be responsible for paying for the subs. So, I mean, if you're feeling like maybe that's a lot of chaperones going, the school's gonna reimburse if they need a sub when those people are not.
They're gonna pay for the sub and the people to go.
Right, if one of these teachers needs a sub while they're on this trip, then it's not gonna be a county expense, it's gonna be the school's expense with their fundraising money to pay for the sub that they needed to get them to go trip.
Generally, there's not that many that don't go, and the ones that don't go, a lot of times stay home. You don't encourage that, but that's what happens.
A whole lot.
Yeah, 17 going to Smokies.
17, you're right. Okay, then Mr. Green, the other one on here, is Zila, and it's a trip to Crossroads Social House, gaming, laser tag, et cetera, in Withville, Virginia, May 16th. 22 students. Not overnight, five
chaperones, 22 kids.
chaperones. Okay, if there's no discussion on that, do we have a motion to accept consent items out of state travel request 1, 2, 3, 4?
Make the motion.
Mr. Berry makes a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Green seconds. All in favor? Aye. Motion unanimous. Personnel.
Yes, we have a little bit of personnel tonight. We have it as presented, reassignment agreement, a resignation, a service substitute, and a professional substitute for next year, or for 29, I believe. Extracurricular and summer employment.
The head middle school coach,
Yes,
which school was that in?
Summersville Middle School.
Are the other places where we had resignations now being advertised?
They have been, yes,
They have.
and they're waiting on.
Okay, if there's no questions, we have a motion to accept the personnel agenda as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Moose makes a motion, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Berry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did I lose you, Mr. Green? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Weitzel. All right. Next on the agenda is we have to conduct some student disciplinary hearings. So at this time, we will need a motion to go in executive session.
Make that motion.
Mr. Barry makes a motion, seconded by
I'll second.
Mr. Moose, seconds.
Green second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
About here.
At 4:23. How close are you?